I have no idea what to make of this weekend. It's divisional round. I think the one-on-one matchups this weekend, Jake, are simply spectacular. And that's why I want to start with Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
Uh-huh.
I want to start with the Bucs v. the Saints. And obviously, when you have two iconic quarterbacks like this, it's so rare that you get this kind of matchup.
Right.
Do you favor one side over the other? When you look at this thing, do you look at Tom Brady versus Drew Brees? Do you have... Well, I mean, your heart's black. That's why you're always single.
Right.
But do you have any feeling, love, or emotion involved in this?
No, not at all. I would love to see Brady win the game. I'd love to see him get to the Super Bowl this year, and obviously to do that, he's going to have to win this week to go on to the next round. And so that's what I want to happen. But I think the game itself is a lot more complicated than that. I think the game truly will be decided in the trench. The Saints defensive line versus the Bucs offensive line. If Tom Brady has time to throw, he's going to dominate this game, and they're going to win this thing. If he doesn't have time to throw and the Saints are getting home, the Saints are going to win this thing. It really is that simple.
Yeah, and I look at some of these matchups, and I look at some of what's on the line in these games, and it is really apparent to me that legacies are going to be cemented or broken this weekend. I mean, you look at what Drew Brees is playing for. This is a guy who I think is clearly on the road to retirement after this season. The next time Drew Brees loses, he's done as an NFL player, I think. I think there's a sense of urgency with that. I do think the karmic gods are going to come back to get Sean Payton and the Saints after Sean Payton destroyed a pair of Air Jordan 11 Low Concords last weekend with his slime thing with Nickelodeon. What an idiot. So I'm thinking I'm leaning towards Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucs. I know that's crazy, and I know that defensive front for the Saints is really good. They blitz really effectively, and I think that's going to be an issue for the Bucs. But I think when you have a game of this magnitude and you're looking at the little innate details of winning a divisional round game to play for a conference championship, that takes a lot of what is it? Chutzpah. That takes a lot of talent. I love the offensive group for the Bucs, and I love Tom Brady. Jake, I think I'm going with the Bucs here.
Yeah, I think one of the things we can look at when we're trying to figure out who's going to win this game or which way you're going to lean is the matchup last week, Bears and Saints. You know, I look at the fact that the Saints only put up 21 points in that game, and I say to myself, man, like that's really not a lot of points. You know, if you were playing somebody else, you'd have had to put up a lot more points, you know. And then you consider the fact that they had the extra possessions with the Bears' mistakes and things like that. So, you know, I don't love what the Saints bring to the table offensively. They're definitely capable, no doubt about that. Obviously, Drew is a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, but I just think at the end of the day, the Bucs are more talented. I think Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Drew Brees, and I think it's just a matter of can they give him protection to go ahead and make some plays. And the answer is yes. I do think they can do that. I do think they'll run the ball early. I do think Mike Evans is going to have a huge game. I think he's going to get open. I think he's going to make plays, and I could see them winning this game by 7 to 10 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think the way I look at these, and just looking at some of the lines and the numbers in this game, by the way, this is a late game on Sunday. I look at the fact that New Orleans is favored by only 3 points at home in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. That tells you that the boys in Vegas really like Tom Brady and the Bucs here.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to stay in that same vein. I could see this going somewhere in the order of 31-27. I could see this being a 31-30 game. But if I have to put my cards on the table and I got to put that stacks of cash that I make in the Yelpatory, I think I'm going to go Bucs 31, Saints 27. Drew Brees goes out a loser.
Yeah, I think in this, I agree. I think the Bucs are going to win the game. I think it's much more comfortable than that, mainly because I think Drew Brees is going to turn the football over in this game at least once.
Wow.
And I think the Bucs are going to put up 35 points in this game, and the Saints will be somewhere in the mid-20s. And I think the Bucs will either have a defensive touchdown or they will get multiple turnovers, and one of those extra possessions is how the Bucs will get out to that lead.
Well, that'll certainly be interesting. That is, I mean, think about this matchup of quarterbacks. When have we had a matchup like this in the NFL playoffs? It's been years.
It's been a long time. I mean, I think about the iconic matchups that we've ever had. Again, since I've been paying attention to the NFL playoffs, obviously the Giants and the Patriots matching up all those times when it was Eli versus Tom. I think about Colts and Patriots when it was Peyton. That was kind of the heyday of quarterback matchups. That's when we had like a lot of great like head-to-head, back and forth kind of matchups. Even you could even say, would you say that Matt Ryan versus Tom Brady is a great matchup in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I think in a Super Bowl it is, but that's really my point. Is I think usually we have to get to a Super Bowl to see Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, to see these great matchup of quarterbacks in a divisional round. And there's clearly legacies and playoff wins on the line, but usually when the stakes are high, you're getting a quarterback matchup like this. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys go. I think the other great quarterback matchup is really not a great quarterback matchup. It's a quarterback versus a defense. It's Buffalo. It's Baltimore. It is the Bills Mafia versus Lamar Jackson. I don't have a real good read on how this Bills defense is going to do against Lamar. I think, obviously, this is one of the better defenses in the NFL. I don't think there's any question about that.
Far more physical.
Yeah, I think Sean McDermott's done a great job building that organization and building his defense. You're finally getting great quarterback play out of Jared Allen, and we're going to talk about Josh Allen, rather. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I keep calling him Jared Allen. I do that every time I talk about him. Josh Allen, we'll talk about him in a minute. I think the marquee matchup in this game is Lamar Jackson versus that Bills defense, because Lamar is an elite runner. He is not an elite passer. I make him beat me down the field. Maybe I'm not playing one-on-one because they've got Andrews and obviously Hollywood Brown, and like they've got talent, right? But the question is, do the Bills make Lamar Jackson beat them throwing the football? And I don't see why you would do anything but that.
Well, let's not forget what the Chargers did to Lamar Jackson. What was that, last year? Maybe the postseason the year before, whatever it was, where they essentially played nickel the whole game, and they essentially had 5 DBs on the field the entire game to match Lamar's speed, and he wasn't able to run the football, and they lost the game. And so, to me, when I look at this game, I say to myself, hey, on one hand, you could say, yeah, it is the premier matchup is Lamar versus the Bills defense. But if I'm the Bills, that's not the premier matchup in the game. If I'm the Bills, I'm saying, hey, our guy versus their defense is the matchup in this game. If we go out and we put up 30 points on the board, Lamar Jackson has nothing to do with that, right? If we go out and we put up 25 to 30 points in this game, that gives us an elite opportunity to win this game. Because if they do that, what does that inherently mean? That means they possess the football for 15 to 20 minutes in this game. That means that's 15 to 20 minutes that Lamar Jackson does not have the football in his hands, trying to break games open. So that's why I say if you're the Bills, that's what you should be looking at as fans and as watchers and as people in our position. Yeah, I think how the Bills treat Lamar Jackson in this game is going to be huge. Are they going to be really physical with him? Are they going to pull up and not make the hit? Because if I'm the Bills, and I know this is cold-blooded and not a lot of people want to do it in the league, if I'm the Bills, I'm okay taking a couple 15-yarders to send a message that you're not going to be able to run all over the field and not get hit. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm not saying dirty hits, but I'm just saying, hey, if you have the opportunity to lay the wood to him in the open field, you should do it. You should absolutely do it.
Well, look, I think there's no doubt that looking at the numbers of Lamar Jackson when he's in the pocket, his efficiency numbers are far less. There's no question about that. You have got to keep Lamar Jackson behind the line of scrimmage. And you can allow him to roll to his left, you're in really good shape. Rolling to his right, he's a little bit better of a thrower. I think you've got to keep him behind the line of scrimmage, and when he comes out, you have got to hit him. I agree with that 100%. I guess I'm not in favor of hitting a guy just to hit a guy. But I think you have to break his spirit.
Yeah.
And I got to imagine he's feeling pretty good because he is, he got his first playoff win. He had a pretty good game. I still think Lamar Jackson has to run and run incredibly well for them to win. And that's why I'm going to pick Josh Allen and the Bills. Because when I look at Josh Allen, he simply doesn't turn the football over. And Siri just won't shut up. She wants to be part of the show.
Man.
But the point is, I think when you look at Josh Allen and he doesn't turn the ball over, Lamar does. Josh Allen throws the ball down the field exceptionally well. Lamar Jackson does not. And the other thing I think is really important about Allen and the way he plays, he runs because he likes to, but he knows he has to run when he has to.
Yeah.
Not necessarily by design. He's really smart the way he runs. He runs in big situations. Obviously they run him more down at the goal line, but when he's on his own 30 and it's 3rd and 4 and he breaks your spirit, Josh Allen does, with a 17-yard gain, that's what he's really learned to refine. And he's learned to play within himself. He's learned not to press. He's learned not to try to play Johnny Hero ball.
Yeah.
That's why the Bills are where they are. It's not because they're defense. It's because Josh Allen has learned to play within himself and be part of the team.
This is Monty Coach Talk.
You know what I'm talking about. This game is in Buffalo, and here's the scary part.
Yep.
Buffalo's a 2.5-point favorite at home. 49.5 is the number.
Yeah.
It's a shocking number. At -2.5, this is a pick'em game. And if we're really being succinct, Vegas likes the Ravens just
by
a little bit more.
Just by field goal.
Just a little bit more. I say screw that. I'm taking the Bills to win this game by at least a touchdown, and I think it's going over the 49.
Yeah, and I think the best way to go back to what you were saying about Josh Allen's game and how it's not predicated on the run, but he's learned to refine that. To me, the best way to talk about that is just to simply say that his game is predicated on his pocket presence and leading that team, and he has the ability to get the first down. Whether he's got to run somebody over, which he's totally capable of doing, which, by the way, is not something that Lamar Jackson does. Josh Allen's willing to run over a DB. He's more than happy to do it, and he's shown us multiple times. And I think the biggest thing here is that the Bills, and this is a credit to Sean McDermott, the Bills are such a tough team. Like, I think about the Ravens matchup with the Titans last week. The reason the Ravens won that game was not the Lamar run. Let's talk about what led to the Lamar run. Right? The reason he had that opportunity is because that offensive line kicked ass that entire game.
Yeah.
They wore down that Titans defense to a point where there were huge holes available in the second half. And so I just don't see that happening against the Bills. I think the offensive and defensive lines are equal in this game, and it is going to come down to quarterback play. And frankly, that's how it should be in the postseason. That's really how it should be. Your quarterback should have to go out, make plays, and that'll determine your success.
Well, and the other thing I really like about the Bills, again, not to belabor the point, is obviously you're getting incredible wide receiver play right now. Stephon Diggs has been fantastic. They're going to be without Zach Moss. Now, that's a pretty significant loss for Buffalo. You're going to have to probably rely on guys that you're not comfortable relying on. We'll see how they run the football and where they go with that. But I think, by the by, in Buffalo, I think it's a more difficult place to play.
Yeah.
I really like the Bills in this, and I'll be interested to see, can Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley have another really good performance against a secondary, frankly, that's pretty good in Baltimore. I don't think they are. They're not as physical a defense as the Colts are.
Uh-huh.
But Baltimore brings the wood. I mean, they're coming for you. So it'll be interesting. I still think I am going to stick with Buffalo here.
Yeah.
And I feel like the play is a 6-point win for Buffalo. And it's just a matter of how much does Lamar Jackson put the ball on the ground or throw interceptions.
Yeah. I
think that's happening.
I agree. I'm going to take Buffalo in this game, too. I don't think either of these teams get to 30 points, though. This doesn't feel like that kind of a game. To me, this feels like a tighter game. Within a touchdown, I like your 6-point prediction a lot. I like that a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and say Bills 28, Ravens 24.
Ooh. If it's a 28-24 game, I mean, you're over the number there, which I agree with. I really struggle with the idea that Buffalo can win a low-scoring tight game.
Why?
because I worry about their ability to run the football. I think this game's got to be in the 30s for the Bills to win, and I think it will be. This is a 35-31 kind of game. This is one of those games, and I'm taking the Bills. I think I'm going to go 35-31.
If it's in the 30s, that means Lamar's definitely got a running touchdown, in my opinion, to get to that point level. And that concerns me, So I don't know. I can see it both ways, but at the end of the day, I'm taking the Bills, and that's my pick.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about the Pack, because I think Packers and Rams, I think, is a delish matchup. Obviously, this game is in Green Bay at Lambeau. Obviously, without fans, that's a different joint, but here's, I guess, my main question. Are the Rams capable of traveling in adverse weather conditions and winning on the road?
No.
With Jared Allen?
Jared Goff.
We're talking NFL playoffs on the Jake Show. Are the Rams capable of traveling on the road to Green Bay, adverse weather conditions, with Jared Goff as your starting quarterback, with a thumb injury that is healing more and more by the second? John Wolford's not going to be able to play in this game, so it's Goff all the way. There's an interesting stat floating around. Sean McVay is undefeated when he's leading at halftime. I believe he's 35-0. I don't think there's any way the Rams are leading at halftime.
Yeah.
And I still think they're going to win this game. And I think the Rams win this game for one reason. Jalen Ramsey wins versus Davante Adams. And I think it is, we talked about Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. Lamar Jackson versus Josh, don't call me Jared Allen. Right? Two great quarterback matchups. I think Jalen Ramsey versus Davante Adams is the single best matchup of the weekend. And when I look at what the Packers are and what they've been, I think the Packers are going to have to convincingly run the football to win this game. I think Aaron Donald's not 100%, and I still think that Rams defense is good enough up front. And I think Jalen Ramsey's going to have a massive performance. And they're going to have to hit the wallflower known as Aaron Rodgers. And they're going to have to make Aaron Rodgers' family feel good by driving Aaron's face into the turf at Lambeau repeatedly. Right? I'm being a jerk now. But the point is, I think they've got to make Aaron Rodgers feel how cold it is. They've got to put a helmet on his chest. And I think they're going to do that. I think Jalen's going to have a game. And I think the Rams are going back to the conference championship.
Yeah, I'd love to agree with you, but I don't. I think the Rams have consistently disappointed us over the years in the postseason for a number of reasons. And I think this week, the thing that terrifies me about this game is the fact that Aaron Donald isn't 100%, because that's the kind of presence they need to be getting after Aaron Rodgers and to be stopping the run game,
right,
to have success. So that scares me to death that he's not 100%. And it's one thing to not be 100% with like a bad hand as a defensive lineman, let's say, but he's got broken ribs. Like, that's a physical-ass injury that takes the energy out of you. So I have concerns about that. The other major concern I have is Jared Goff. Just simply put, Jared Goff. When I think about the Super Bowl performance, when I think about the fact that he damn near lost his job, if John Wolford doesn't get hurt, he's probably starting this game.
Yeah.
I think about that. I agree with you on the Jalen Ramsey matchup. I think that's going to be a hell of a matchup, and I do think that Jalen will win that matchup for the most part. But let's not forget everyone's takeaway in the matchup against DK Metcalf. You yourself even said that Jalen didn't shut DK down, and DK did score, but I think Jalen did the best he could. So even if he does shut Davante down the whole game, I still think Davante finds a way to score, inevitably. And so my biggest concern here is you're going to Lambeau in the cold. Your stud defensive lineman has broken ribs. Jared Goff's hand is hurt. He's not clutch. Like, I have big concerns in this game. And so to me, it's really difficult to pick against the Packers as much as I hate Aaron Rodgers. Like, I just don't see the Rams going
Why
there
do you
winning.
hate Aaron Rodgers? Can we
Because
have
he's
you
just a
espouse
dick.
about
Dude,
different
the guy
ways?
is a dick. Like, he's not a likable figure. He's the asshole on the State Farm commercials who thinks he's cool.
He really
he's
is.
not. Like,
he really is.
Like, get out of here, bro. Like, I
Preach!
get it.
Preach!
Dude, like,
Keep
I
going.
get it.
Talk about his bad mustache. Talk about the fact that Danica Patrick dumped his ass. Well, he dumped her. But Danica dumped his ass. Talk about his family.
His family hates him.
Damn it. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
All right, yeah.
In sync.
Yeah, so-
well, Backstreet Boys more than in sync. But anyway, the point is, I think Aaron Rodgers is a really good quarterback. And I think Jared Goff has something to prove.
Oh, I hope so.
I think Jared Goff feels like he has been disrespected. I think Jared Goff saw something the day that John Wolford went out there and won them a big football game to get them into the playoffs. I think Jared Goff played like a much different quarterback, and I think Jared Goff is ready to take a step forward. This is one of those defining games.
It's a prove-it game, bro. You got to have it.
Well, not even a prove-it game. This is where you go to Lambeau Field if you're Jared Goff, and you prove that you belong as the starting quarterback of the LA Rams. You prove that this is your team. You prove that John Wolford can't hold your jock. You go out there and you perform. And the biggest question is, what do they do without a guy? Like, what's Cooper Kupp mean to him? Like, you look at all these different things, Jake. I think Jared Goff has so much to prove here. I think it's critical he perform well.
Yeah, and I hope that happens. I really do. Like, me as a dude, I want the Rams to win. I really do. I want them to win. But if I was putting money on it, I would not pick them to win this game. What I would do if I was putting money on this game, I would take the Packers. I think they're gonna be 27 to 30 points in this game, and I think the Rams don't get out of the teens because I think Jared Goff turns the football over in this game.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. There's no question about it. I'm going to take the Rams to win this game, and it's going to be really, really close. Green Bay's favored by a touchdown. The number's 45.5. I know that it is supposed to be freezing and snowing a little bit.
Yeah.
Snow flurries and 32 degrees at kickoff. I'm taking the Rams. And I'm taking the Rams to win a high-scoring game. And I'm telling you right now, Jared Goff is having a coming-out party. I'm going Rams 38, Packers 6. I'm going Rams.
Better fucking execution.
You better. Rams 38, Packers 35.
Okay.
I
hope
think this
so.
is a huge,
Again,
high-scoring shootout.
I just want to say I want the Rams to win this game. I really do. I want the Rams to win this game.
I want it.
But yeah, like I want it. But I can't pick them. So yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
all right.
So you're all in.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers in this game, but I want the Rams to win.
You're so dumb. By the way, have you ever beat me in the football pool?
No,
Why is that?
because I'm dumb.
And I'm better at picking games than you are, right?
Sure.
So why would you pick against me?
I'm not picking against you.
It's personal.
Okay.
I think you could be absolutely right, by the way. I don't think you are. I mean, if you look at what I have going for me in this game, I'm better looking. I'm more intelligent. I wear a size 15, you don't. Frankly, I have better hair than you.
Right.
And I think that Jared Goff has a lot to prove. There's
Well
pride.
said.
Yeah, thank you. You can't put a price on a guy's pride.
Right.
And you essentially kicked Jared Goff to the curb, grabbed his wife by the hand, and walked away with her.
Vexes me.
And when you were crossing the street to go to that romantic restaurant, you got hit by a car.
Terribly vexed.
And Jared Goff's wife went running back to him. John Wolford's laid up in the crib somewhere in traction, and now Jared Goff's got something to prove. And I thought he looked great throwing the ball last week.
So I said, yeah.
You know? And I'm hoping they come out in those fire blue uniforms with the ram on the side of the helmet.
Uh-huh.
Those are pure sex.
I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
I'm telling you right now, Rams are winning this game.
I hope so, man.
86-74.
Okay.
Final
Okay.
score.
All right. Perfect. Perfect.
Duke wins. The point is, Rams are winning. By the way, does anybody realize, and I'm sure this has been made a lot of in LA and Green Bizzle, is that I hate Green Bay. I like the Brat Stop, though, in Kenosha. Anyway, the point is that Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay, those are the head coaches of the two different teams.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Yep.
Just trying to help.
Yep.
Are really close friends. So, I don't know that they wife swap or anything. But my point is, I don't know why I say stuff like that.
Everybody gets a test.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see like a TV set, everybody turns around.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, no, I'm kidding. That's like a third grade joke. Doorknob. Anyway, Remember when your pitching coach used to be like, "Oh, just turn your girlfriend's doorknob,
yes.
throw that slider."
Yes.
What a pervy dude. Anyway, the point is, listen. The Rams are winning this game. I
Okay.
should probably stop talking.
All right. Yeah.
And then it's the blow-up doll game, which of course means we're talking about Baker Mayfield.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You were, my man. I know you were. Are you going to cry when Baker Mayfield gets carted off the field with a compound fracture?
Yeah, because that's happening in this game. That's coming.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're not
good.
winning this game.
It's over. The Chiefs are coming for that ass. The soft side of Patrick Mahomes, he's nice. But good Lord, he is a killer on the field, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
Patrick Mahomes can play.
Yes, dude. The guy's a killer.
Yeah, they're at home and they're favored by double digits.
They should be. Let's be really clear. The Browns have been a nice story. Just like I said earlier this week, the only reason they won that damn game last week is because of all the turnovers. Straight up. They didn't.
And by the way, wait a minute. Can I just add, I'm asking a serious question right now.
Right.
Why is nobody blaming Ben Roethlisberger?
I don't know. Like if Jared Goff threw 5 picks, the guy'd be out of a damn job.
Right? Like
Ben Roethlisberger somehow bulletproof because he's been with the organization for 50 years.
everybody else is like, oh, well, Ben's got feelings. And he was crying on the field because he was retiring. Who cares? He sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's not, everybody is calling his leadership into question. Anyway, here nor there. Any chance I get to rip the Ben Roethlisberger, I do.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's proper pronunciation of his name. I've always struggled with it.
I want better fucking execution.
Anyway, Ben Roethlisberger, all the girls.
Just take it nice and easy, okay? Just relax.
Settle down. Anyway, speaking of the blow-up doll, Baker Mayfield. Is this what you needed out of your guy? Has this year been growth and maturity and franchise quarterback and this is our guy, run through a brick wall
Yeah.
that Mexico paid for? I couldn't resist. Go Baker. Right? Like, are you all in on this incarnation of Baker Mayfield?
I mean, I'm never gonna be like all in on Baker the way the Patriots were all in on Tom Brady. Let's say just because we all know that Baker Mayfield is really prone to turning the football over, and I will continue to say that until he puts up extended stats over a long period of time that shows me he's done turning the football over. So that's number one. Now, number two is I do think that Baker Mayfield is extremely likable. I do think the story and the mystique of the Browns is why this conversation is even happening, right? Like if they weren't the Browns, if we were talking about, the Panthers, nobody would give a damn about this game.
The Panthers?
Like, nobody would care about this game, right? It would be, hey, the Chiefs are going to win by 20. We'll see you next week in the conference championships, But because it's the Browns, because it's Baker, because of some amazing performance that he didn't have last week, everybody's like, oh, the Browns are going to win this game. They're not winning this damn game. It's not happening. The Chiefs are a better team. They have more talent. They execute at a higher level. They have a better defense, and they're going to take the football from Baker in this game. It's going to happen. So that's why I say, don't be all heartbroken over Baker this week when he turns the football over in a postseason game and that happens, because that's going to happen. Like, you should have that expectation. So if anybody's picking the Browns in this game, you are insane.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody is picking the Browns, and I think this is a matter of the Browns being able to inflict their will on a defense, frankly, that usually inflicts its will on you.
Yeah.
The Browns are going to try and run the football because they have to run the football to win. And I actually think that if they can come out and grind the clock, that's going to be the question.
That's how you win this game. That's how you beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, how much time of possession is Patrick Mahomes going to have, and how much can the Browns keep him off the field? Can Baker and the Browns convert on third down? And can they run the football consistently enough to limit how much Kansas City scores?
Well, think about the matchup. Was that 2 years ago now when the Patriots went to Kansas City to play the Chiefs in the conference game? I think that was 2 years ago now. think about what the Patriots did in that game. They did exactly what you were just talking about. They possessed the ball for a long time.
Well, in the catch down the sideline by
Gronk
didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I think I think that's the biggest question in this game. And are you going to be able to get that kind of production out of, by the way, Kareem Hunt? And where did Kareem Hunt start his career?
Yeah,
and,
to prove.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I think that's going to be the biggest question.
I don't think the run game is going to get 100% shut down in this game. But my point here is that I don't think that the Browns offensively can hang with the Chiefs offensively. Like the Browns,
firepower-wise.
Yeah, the Browns are never putting up 40 in a game. That's not happening. You know.
You don't think so? I mean, no. I look at I look at their numbers. You know, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Rashard Higgins has got to be a professional. I mean, that guy drives me crazy with his inconsistency.
Yeah,
but he's wildly talented. I mean, obviously you have two backs in Chubb and Hunt who can both catch the football.
Yeah,
I mean they're capable of it. This Chiefs defense isn't giving that up. Like that's just not going to happen. And so when I look at how this game probably plays out, I actually do think the Browns have a lot more of a chance than people are giving them credit for. You're not going to Kansas City and winning.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. I think this is going to be again. I think there's a potential for this to be a 50-point game, and I'd probably put this somewhere, 31-27-ish. But in reality, I think it's going to be 31-24, 35-24.
Yeah, that's more what I'm thinking. I'm thinking mid-30s for the Chiefs and maybe low 20s for the Browns. And it should be said, too, if, let's say the Browns do find a way to win this game and Baker goes off and has some, 300-yard performance with, 4 touchdowns, let's say, we're going to have to change the narrative on Baker Mayfield. That's what's at stake in this game for Baker.
But what is the narrative? And I'm being serious.
Yeah, the narrative.
You're a Baker guy. What's the narrative right now?
Yeah, I mean, the narrative to me is that Baker is still trying to prove himself. He is I still call Baker Mayfield a young gun of a quarterback because he hasn't gotten to this stage yet of football. He hasn't been deep into the postseason. He hasn't been he's not an elite quarterback. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's fair to say. He is not with Russ and Patrick and Aaron. He's not with those guys. He's a cut below that. He can make plays, but there's a certain factor about him in the chaos. He is capable. The X factor in this game, and this should be talked about a lot. Baker Mayfield, whether he was at Oklahoma or in the NFL, when he's on the run and he's throwing the football, he's dangerous. He's very dangerous. And so if that happens a lot in this game will get really interesting. But by no means should we think that the Browns will win this game.
I think the Chiefs have played a lot of close football games.
Yeah.
And it makes me a little nervous. I look at the way they came down the stretch. Last night, because I had a coughing fit at 11:30, I had some time to be awake and, look at some NFL statistical analysis.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm fried.
They beat Denver 22-16. They won at Miami 33-27.
Miami's low-key, though. They're a good team.
They won at New Orleans 32-29.
That's a big win.
They beat Atlanta 17-14.
Not a big win.
They lost to the LA Chargers 38-21.
Uh-huh.
They've not played elite football in several weeks.
Yeah. Hey.
And they haven't played in several weeks.
Listen, I'd love to see the Browns win this game. I would love to see that the train keep going, but there's no way that's happening. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And by the way, Clyde Edwards-Helaire looks like he's going to be fine to play in this game. It'll be interesting to see how they come out and what the Chiefs do. If Edwards-Helaire is not 100%, obviously that's better for the Browns.
Yeah. I just listen, I think the Chiefs are just they've been here before. They know how to win games. Obviously the Super Bowl, this is not their first rodeo. This is the Browns' first time here, right? This is that I can't, there's a huge...
Yeah, but
so wait, are you saying that this is going to be a close game?
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
Yes, I think it's going to be a close game.
Dude.
I think there is an innate little thing where the Chiefs are not playing their best football, and the Browns feel like they're 12 inches long, and they've got confidence.
Can you measure it?
And you can if you want. I mean, it's a little cold down here, but we won't make things. Anyway, let's move on. The point is, I feel like the Browns have a little window where if they come out, they run the football, they control the clock, and they pounce on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be perfect. They're going to have to play perfect football. It is what it is. But with all of the adversity they faced going to Pittsburgh, with all of the coronavirus that happened to that organization last weekend, and they overcame when you overcome the coronavirus, when you overcome that,
Hydroxychloroquine.
and you do it with potentially
Hydroxychloroquine.
4 more years and stuff, I feel like you can overcome anything.
Right.
The stage is not going to be too big for them. They can go to Kansas City and win. They're not going to win, but they're going to be in position in the fourth quarter. They'll be within a score in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm usually never wrong. It's never happened before.
Right.
Maybe this is the first time I'm wrong ever.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I made a bad decision after a hockey game 27 years ago, but things
God
happen.
said you and your sticky fingers probably find hard to grasp.
No, my fingers should have been sticky. The point is, Jake, any thoughts?
No comment.
All right. I like the Chiefs to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I really don't.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Give me a score prediction.
35-21.
Oh, geez.
I think it's an ass kicking.
Oh, Browns are dirty. Baker might as well not even get off the bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shave that beard, kid. Anyway, the point is, we need to talk about a couple other things after you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you search The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show, and then hit subscribe. By the way, I should ask, Kev says, which one of you is the blow-up doll on Baker Mayfield? Because Monty, it certainly sounds like you're kissing his ass.
Yes, you did.
No,
Yes,
no, I
you
didn't.
did.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
I never said that Baker was going to blow up, and that was you, or blow Baker, whatever. Anyway, yeah, now, I never said any of that. I said that they need to run the ball, and they're going to have to be perfect. And even if that happens, they may lose this game. Browns are going to be it when they're in touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm serious. Here's an interesting question. Mike wants to know, you usually are pretty spot on about the NFL. This is one of the stupidest things you've ever said. I'm much more Team Jake on this. Blow up. Everybody's on the blow up doll. Anyway, I'm much more Team Jake on this. Blow up doll or not.
Oh my God, dude.
Okay.
That's one of the stupidest things you've ever said.
And listen, Mike is a diehard Utah Ute fan. Mike, I love you, dude. But again, I'm usually not wrong. And I'm not saying that I get the outcomes of games correct all the time, even though I did win my radio friends pick'em league by like 86.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
It was amazing. Amazing. The point is, I feel like the Browns are going to be in position to win the game.
Okay.
I do. Mike also wanted to know who had a better career, Tom Brady or Drew Brees. Well,
come on, dude.
Is this even a conversation? Drew Brees had a way better career.
Dude, Drew Brees he's had a nice little career. Tom Brady,
I say,
bro. Tom Brady is.
I just said Drew Brees had a much better career.
Yes, I know. I heard you. Yes, I know.
I try to ignore your nonsense.
Yeah.
Tom Brady had a way better career, and it's not over yet. I think he's got to. If he wins this weekend, all bets are off.
Dude, if you're comparing Tom Brady to any other quarterback in this league, the thing you have to the biggest point that hits home the most is the fact that the guy has won a ton, obviously, and he's still doing it. He's still prolific as a quarterback. Whereas Drew Brees has fallen off a little bit. Whether you look at the arm strength, mobility, Tom Brady hasn't fallen off yet, which is amazing to me.